What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel, and I am back with yet another episode of Under the Radar. This is going to be a shorter episode as I'm only talking about two albums that came out on February 16th that I didn't give full reviews to. So without further ado, why don't we go ahead and get this show running. If you like what you see, subscribe, hit the like button, share the video, all that mumbo jumbo. But we're kicking things off with Vanir with Epitome. This is a Danish melodic death metal band. And yeah, this month was kind of big when it came to melodic death metal, or progressive melodic death metal in the case of Eternal Storm. But this album, this is more just straightforward melodic death metal. Like, almost like a hybrid a little bit of the Finnish melodic death metal sound and the Swedish melodic death metal sound. So it feels like it borders on both sides to some degree. Like, you get some really tasty, clean melodies with clean guitar chops, more of that, like, classic melodeath riffing. It gets thrashy at times, like, say, At the Gates, but it also does get quite groovy and a little more, maybe a little bit more epicness to it, because there is some symphonic elements going on, but the symphonic elements are more in the background. Like, the guitars are very much right up front over the orchestral moments, which might be a big strength to this album for those who might be tired of hearing the symphonies overpower guitars in melodeath bands like this. But there's some even dissonant melodies that pop up here, but the guitar leads are just soaring. Like, they just soar up to the heavens to look down on you and say, hey, accept this beautiful gift of music. And even the harmonies, when they come up, are quite tasty in its own right. As far as any negatives go, perhaps it might hang on certain melodeath tropes a little bit too much at times, but then again, it's melodic death metal. It's like there's three different kinds of melodeath out there. There's the straight down the line melodic death metal, then there's bands who experimenting with prog, and then you have the melodeath bands that stick closer to classic death metal but with melodic hooks. This very much falls in the straightforward down the line melodic death metal side. Not bad. Actually, this was a really good album. If you are a fan of Swedish melodeath bands, I would say in particular Dark Tranquillity and Amon Amarth, but also the Finnish sound bands like Amorphous and Insomnium, you might enjoy this. I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. I thought this was a really good album, all things considered. Definitely check it out. But now let's get to the big heavyweight for me on here, and that is, oh boy, I have to try and figure out how to say this, Acrid Death. I think I said it right. So Acrid Death with Abominable Presence of Blight. This is a German death metal band, traditional death metal, and, well, is Germany slowly becoming the new Sweden? Because this sounds very much like old school Swedish death metal, HM2 tone all throughout. It's thrashy, it's catchy, it's groovy, it's flat out brutal at times. Like, the vocals, like when it gets to like the real low gutturals, reminds me a lot straight out of the gate of Michael Ockerfeld, out of particularly his Bloodbath stuff. But the high screams kind of remind me of the late great Trevor from Black Dahlia Murder. So it's almost like Ockerfeld and Trevor met and had a child, and it was this guy, as the vocals on this album are absolutely disgusting. And then as far as like the music goes, there's some sinister melodies, but also some tasteful melody that kind of pops up here and there. Some low-end tremolos to kind of give it that like dirty, gritty sound. Some double time stomps, very much giving it a bolt thrower vibe. There's some cool breakdowns, some nice nasty chugathon riffs. Tribal drums even kind of pop up quite a bit on this album as well. So yeah, overall, like, this album is just filled with great hooks, but it's brutal, yet it's got some great melody to it. Like, this is one of the shorter albums I've heard thus far this year. This is only a little over 27 minutes. Short, sweet to the point, and no thrills or anything flashy. It's just good old school Swedish death metal done by some guys from Germany. So I would say the best bands, like, if you are into Bloodbath and Entombed, but also Wretched Fate for a companion band of modern times, but also there's a lot of bolt thrower on here, definitely check this out. I'm giving this a 4 out of 5. This was a Great album. Awesome stuff. But of course, those are just my opinions. What do you guys think? Of course, the albums will be in the description for you guys to check out. And until next time, keep your horns high and your dreams wet.